Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Uh, my topic is clinical profile of childhood exotropia in a tertiary eye care center. I had no financial disclosures. So, as we all know, exotropia is a manifest outward deviation of eyes seen in 1 to 2% of pediatric population. When these children are left untreated, they're at increased risk of amblyopia and thus contribute to childhood visual impairment. So aim of our study was to study the prevalence of various types of exotropia presenting to our clinic and also to know the age of onset, age of presentation, various ocular and systemic associations. It was a cross-sectional prospective study with a 15-month duration. Inclusion of patients with clinical diagnosis of exotropia of age less than 16 years and exotropia of more than 10 prism diopters was done. The patients with a history of strabismus surgery, consecutive exotropia, and patients who were lost to follow-up were excluded. So out of the 286 study patients which were enrolled, we found that there was no gender predilection, but previous studies have shown that there is a female preponderance which is seen. Coming to types of exotropia, intermittent exotropia was the most common form, as we all know, and CNS associated were the second most common, then was infantile, sensory, restrictive, and paralytic types. A high number of cases of exotropia with neurological association were present, that is 11%, out of which developmental delay and hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy were most common. Reason of such a high number of cases was damage to brain during critical period of development. Median age of onset was found to be 24 months and age of presentation was 60 months. Most of the patient had no significant refractive error and myopia was the most common refractive error which was seen. And 12% cases had a pattern association and V pattern being the most common. Also, amblyopia was present in 13% cases and large number of them being sensory and paralytic exotropia. DVD was seen in 11%, inferior oblique overaction in 8%, and nystagmus in 8%. On Bird's 4-dot test, we found that binocular single vision was present in 36% for distance and 56% for near. Cases of intermittent exotropia had better fusion for distance and near compared to other types. Central stereopsis was seen in 18%, peripheral in 60%, and absent in 22%. Coming to the subtypes of intermittent exotropia, we found that basic exotropia was seen in majority of cases. Also, Calhoun's phases, phase 2 and 3 constituted majority of cases. And in office control, around half of the cases showed a poor control for distance and good control for near. So to conclude, we found that there was no gender preponderance in our studies, whereas female predilection is seen in previous studies. There was a relatively later age of onset. Myopia was the most common refractive error. Large number of cases had a neurological association. Cases of exotropia with neurological association were significantly associated with preterm delivery and low birth weight. And intermittent exotropia was found to be the most common form of exotropia. Majority of these cases were seen in phase 2 or phase 3. And nearly 50% of patients had a poor control for distance and good control for near. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for a nice presentation. So what is, you are adding new to the literature out of this study? It's quite interesting, but, if I could see everything is being known,
Yes,
and it is not surprising for me to see like intermittent XT being the most common, and then the stereopsis has shown more improvement or something like that, which is very obvious. So what new thing you want to add with this study?
So we wanted to know that what is the kind of presentation of patients which we seen in our clinic. Usually these studies are from Western literature and Caucasian population. So we wanted to know what is the type of profile of patients that we get. So we found neurological association which was present in exotropia cases also. It is usually found that esotropia cases have like cases with neurological anomaly, developmental delay are more commonly having esotropia as an anomaly, but also in exotropia, we found that 11% cases we had. And also for the, like we have a relatively later age of onset, around 2 years in our patients as compared to other previous studies. So maybe the later age of onset is due to the social taboo related to the exotropia, to the squint that is there in our population. or this shows that there is some hesitancy of patients to show to the clinic, and maybe we can target screening of patients, younger children, or some programs that we can establish to screen these kind of children. And we need more awareness so that these patients are treated early and have a good outcome.
Yeah,
Also,
so
we
yes, so
yes, sir.
the most interesting thing probably what you can highlight out of your study is, the neurological association. So usually they are
Yes, sir.
very much less reported, like I don't find any study as far as, the Asia or India is concerned. So how much was like, how many you had patients with, underlying optic atrophy, or they turn out to be HIE or some sort of tumors or
HI,
something like that? How many
yes, sir.
percent? You said 11, but which entity is one of the most common in those patients? Because I'm sure, we don't do a routine neuroimaging, that too, particularly in exotropia,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And majority of your group was intermittent, so definitely no way. But if already, from the same institute, the Sovita has
Sorry to
presented,
interrupt,
right?
sir.
So
Yes.
We
the
have to move on.
exotropia, congenital exotropia, so how many had the neurological deficit in your study out of those 11% which you are talking about?
And
So
what kind of
HI,
deficit?
so for the causes
So the time
development.
is up.